Yes.
Toward the camera.
We've asked you that before.
Ask it loud, very loud.
Do you think, Mr. Wells, that you might have taken unfair advantage of the public in using a map as a conveyance for authentic news?
I don't believe that I have, since it is not a method original with me.
Even though we now have the theoretical knowledge to make a trip to the moon, it will be many years yet before our plans can fully materialize.
I'd like to discuss with you a few of the more symbolic aspects of the flight of our mission Apollo 11.
So my travel reimbursement was $33.
Every radio program tries to be more dramatic than life, as every play tries to be more dramatic than life, and every movie, not less so.
Through a worldwide network of radio and television, we are bringing you an on-the-spot account of the first expedition around the moon.
My mother's maiden name was Marion Moon. I took an oath when I was the age of 17.
We are happy to report all the crew are in good condition. Ladies and gentlemen, we are interrupting our...
RM1, Station 1. We are now seeing the Earth disappear behind the moon's rim. This will be our last radio message until you see us on the other side.
Roger, RM1. Good luck.
That landing was the most complex, the most significant, the most important achievement in the space program.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House.
It doesn't take a genius, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to go down and land a ladder and put your foot on a bunch of gray dust. Oh, that's symbolic. That's the most important thing.
The astronauts began their television show from the moon tonight by deploying their country's flag.
Worked out quite well, as we would have expected. One could also jump in more of a kangaroo fashion, 2 feet at a time.
And jump and do that again. So it's sort of a boop, 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 boop. There was enough time for me to get in front of the TV camera. It wasn't on the checklist. And then bounce up and down. The kangaroo hop, move forward.
Perhaps we may never know exactly how they felt as they leaped about on the desolate magnificence of the lunar landscape. But remember what we can do if we can just imagine.
By your imagination.
Boing, boing.
It doesn't seem so long ago now, but the space program is behind me now. A lot has happened since then.
The celebrity of reaching the moon with human beings before the Soviet Union did.
I'm Apollo 11 astronaut Buzz Aldrin, and I'll be your personal guide along the red carpet.
The moon landing was not faked.
The moon landing happened exactly the way the whole world saw it.
Okay, I think that means you've taken the geophone photos.
Cernans. Thank you, Jules. It certainly beats a marching band. This is Frank Reynolds at ABC Space Headquarters.
Science!
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
Going to have the Space Force.
My life has certainly changed. When you're used to having most things go right, it's difficult suddenly to face anything going wrong.
Moon scoops. Moon scoops.
And you can look and see the horizon curving away because it's so clear. And you know, I shouldn't use that word. Most people talk about a flat Earth society.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
Well, you get in certain places where it's flat, and you can convince yourself that it's flat, but not on the moon. You can just see it kind of curving away, and you can imagine that you're on a ball.
You can look out in front of you and see the horizon moving away at a close distance. You wouldn't find very many flat moon society people because you can see it curving away from you. The general color of the terrain looking down sun was a very light tannish color. This blended as we looked more across sun to a more sharper, well-defined features and more of a gray color.
Everything is gray on the moon.
And I'm picking up several pieces of really vesicular rock out here now.
Now, we went to the moon and we came back. What do we have to show for it? We have a lot of rocks. That's going to be a big, big smash.
How big?
Big.
Bigger than big.
Well, we're going to be thinking of all the great things that came from the space program back in those rocks.
As I'm sure you might have read in the newspapers recently, a moon rock that was on display in a Dutch museum, which you, Neil, and Mike had given to the then ambassador to the Netherlands at the time, it turned out to be a piece of petrified wood. I was wondering, at the time, when you were in possession of this, were you aware that this was petrified wood, or were you also led to believe that it was a genuine moon rock?
Petrified wood. Well, that doesn't sound like it came from the moon.
Cheese. And it's not on the moon because it's American cheese on the moon so far.
Now, who did that? We have no idea. But I'm sure the United States would not present to world leaders a piece of petrified wood claiming that it was a sample from the moon.
And who put that there? Who put that there? Well, the universe put it there. And what do we have to show for it? Rocks and other science information. That's just for geeks. If you want to get money out of somebody, they're not going to give money to geeks. But STEAM. But the art's in there, and now you got a good education policy. But you never, it's hard to change people as much as some people say. Yes, that's all right. There are other more, no, they're not more important things.
So Buzz, could you show us where you guys touched down here on the surface of the moon?
There.
It was just a many-faceted moon. It was a stranger to me before the mission, but I now look back at it as somewhat of a friend.
Why hasn't anyone been back to the moon? That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen...
And the second man on the moon, the legendary Colonel Buzz Aldrin. Welcome to the White House.
And the second man on the moon, the legendary Colonel Buzz Aldrin. Second man on the moon, Buzz Aldrin.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
All of my training as an astronaut couldn't help me now. I had to reach out to someone else for help.
I will always be known as the second man on the moon.
So you're going to be remembered in history for your Apollo 11 landing, the first lunar landing. Is there anything else that you want to be remembered for, that you want a legacy for, that we're not going to teach children in school, or anything you want to have students know about you?
Well, I have a license plate, California, Florida, Mars Guy, and some people may not like it, but I'd like to be Mars Guy #1.
Now,
science! Quite frankly, forget the moon. What's the purpose of Mars One? Well, it's a reality show, I guess.
get your ass to Mars.
Does it look like something you would never afford to do? I mean, it's scary just to look at the complexity.
Yeah.
Aloha.
I do my own rap music.
Oh, he's a new rapper!
Yeah,
Really?
the Rocket Experience.
What you need is the Rocket Experience.
Buzz, you're cleared for takeoff.
All you need is the Rocket Experience.
Roger, Roger.
Yo, man, I think we need to tone the beat down just a little bit, because we're going to lose the message. It's too hard.
The realization of an intellect that looks at something and then realizes.
Dancing is, hey, wait a minute, I got a new tune. You know, I've heard Fly Me to the Moon.
Yeah.
200 times. Okay?
Okay.
She blinded me with science. Just remember one thing.
It takes two to tango, you know.
I love it. That's what I like to do. Well, I've been on stage for 40 years now.
Something I thought only happened to other people was happening to me. I had become part of that 1 in 10 Americans who was mentally ill.
Don't know the reference.
No, fear and...
Fear and panic.
Fear and danger, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
The only thing to fear is fear itself.
The universe of you? No, the world or the...
What's bigger?
I don't know.
The multiverse.
The back room.
Yes, the back room.
Yeah.
I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Roger that. Now,
whose fault is that? Moon scoops!
that's what NASA says. And whatever NASA says must be right.
Well,
so
I want to wish you a lot of luck with Space Force.
now in 2024, guess where the International Space Station is going to be? Heading for the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. It only cost $100 billion of a taxpayer dollars, and that was just our America's contribution.